This is a story about how one small, seemingly unimportant moment unraveled a decade-long web of deception. My name is Adam. I'm 35 years old, and for over 10 years, I was married to Stephanie, who is 3 years my senior. We led a modest, ordinary life as working-class people, sharing a home and building what I believe was a solid partnership, until a single moment shattered that illusion. Like most couples, we face our share of ups and downs. One persistent issue in our relationship was my work. My job often required me to travel for extended periods, something Stephanie strongly resented. She was vocal about her frustration for a long time. Eventually, though, she stopped bringing it up. I assumed we'd reached some sort of quiet understanding. Everything appeared steady. In fact, I thought life had settled into a calm, comfortable rhythm. Then came the phone call that wrecked it all. I was overseas on another business trip. Stephanie and I kept in touch, sometimes via video chat, sometimes just voice calls, depending on what she had going on back home. On this particular day, she seemed preoccupied, so we opted for a regular phone conversation. Midway through our chat, she accidentally turned on her video camera. What I saw next flipped my entire world upside down. Lying on our bed was a young man, no older than 25, completely naked. Stephanie was also unclothed, scrambling in a panic to grab her clothes and hide herself. For a few heartbeats, everything stopped, my breath, my thoughts, time itself. And then a wave of fury surged through me like a tidal wave. I went from composed to shouting, unable to contain my rage. The man in our bed didn't even flinch. He looked directly into the camera with a smug grin, as if daring me to react. Stephanie, meanwhile, was sobbing and apologizing, trying to explain through her tears. Then the guy decided to speak. He mocked me, saying if I was such a tough guy, I should come home and deal with him face to face. At that moment, Stephanie realized the video was still active and quickly ended the call. I was thankful, and I might have lost my mind entirely, but I didn't cut my trip short. The betrayal was already complete, and I needed time to gather my thoughts and process the shock. I continued with my assignments abroad, but my mind kept spinning with questions. Who was this man? How long had this been going on? Uncovering his identity was surprisingly easy. He was all over the internet, clearly fond of showing off. His social media pages were filled with selfies, gym shots, and flashy lifestyle posts. That's how I learned he was only 23. Even younger than I had initially guessed. I dug deeper and discovered that he and Stephanie were connected online. That's where their relationship had begun. From there, the tangled lies started to fall apart. Before returning home, I reached out to a woman I knew and asked if I could use her social media profile. She agreed. I then used that account to message the guy, pretending to be someone else entirely. I messaged him, pretending to be someone else, and casually asked if he was seeing anyone. He responded with a smirk in his tone, saying, "Yeah, I got a girlfriend, but I'm always up for something casual, no strings." That single line kept echoing in my head, tormenting me, until I finally confronted Stephanie. I arranged to meet him at a local park. As I arrived, I spotted him lounging on a bench, completely unaware that I was already there. I walked up slowly, composed but boiling inside. "Looks like we got a date," I said as I stood in front of him. He glanced up and scoffed, clearly mocking me. "You're not who I'm waiting for, man. Beat it. I didn't come there to play games." I held out my phone and showed him the conversation. "So, you enjoy sleeping with my wife?" I asked calmly, though my blood was surging. Once he realized he'd been exposed, panic washed over his face. He tried to bolt, but I moved faster. I caught him by the collar of his jacket and refused to let go. He thrashed around, begging me not to hurt him, yelling for help. I didn't want to create a public scene, but I needed him to understand. He wasn't walking away from this without consequences. I struck him a few times, nothing brutal, just enough to make it clear I wasn't someone he could taunt and walk away from. Then I demanded the truth. Shaking and scared, he confessed. Stephanie had been with not just him, but several other men, especially when I was away on business. I felt like the ground was falling out beneath me. He said she had a dating app profile and used it frequently to line up her secret encounters. He wasn't even the only one, just one of many. All those years I'd spent working hard, building a future, raising our kids, she'd been living a double life. Still in disbelief, I went home and decided to verify it myself. I created a fake profile on the dating app he mentioned. Within minutes, I matched with my own wife. She didn't hesitate. She acted like she had been single for years, openly flirting, making it clear she was looking for a hookup. After all the lies, she still had the audacity to keep going like nothing ever happened. The betrayal hit me like a knife to the chest. When I got home, I walked straight up to her. We hadn't spoken since the video call. She didn't expect me back so soon. As her eyes met mine, she didn't look guilty, just defiant. "Do whatever you want," she said coldly. "I'm not going to stop cheating. I want a divorce." I was speechless. There are no words for the kind of pain I felt in that moment. My fists clenched involuntarily. I couldn't hold back my anger, and in a moment I deeply regret, I struck her. As soon as it happened, I knew it was wrong. I stepped back, horrified with myself, and told her to get out. She sneered like it meant nothing to her. "Why would I stay with you?" she snapped. "I only married you for your money. I've been with other guys since almost the beginning." I could feel fury rising again, but I held it in. I wasn't going to let her drag me further down. I ordered her to leave, and she stormed out wearing nothing but a bathrobe, shouting threats as she went. She screamed that she'd call the police if I didn't give her money and her clothes. I didn't respond. I was emotionally numb. About an hour later, her yelling attracted neighbors, who called the police. When the officers arrived, I calmly explained what happened. They seemed to understand and gave me a few words of sympathy before leaving. I tossed her coat and shoes into the street, and she left to stay with some relatives. The very next day, I contacted a lawyer to protect my assets. Most of what we had was either mine before the marriage or part of my inheritance. So I wasn't too concerned. When she tried to claim alimony, the judge dismissed it almost immediately. There were no kids, and she had no legal ground to stand on. She walked away with nothing. I don't know where she is now, and frankly, I don't care. That chapter is over. All of it began with one tiny slip, an accidental camera switch, and it exposed a decade of betrayal. If you're wondering whether your partner is hiding something, don't brush off the little signs. The truth always finds a way to surface. Yes, discovering it the way I did nearly destroyed me. But now I'm free, and that's what really counts. If your partner is sneaking around, using dating apps, or living a double life, they will mess up eventually. And when they do, it'll sting like hell. But trust me, freedom is worth every ounce of pain it takes to get there.